At the edge of the Arad reservoir, a fire and rescue service, rigid inflatable, was visible at first light, testing the waters for the dive teams who'll spend the next few days in a targeted search of this area. Throughout the morning, dozens of police and other officials arrived at this makeshift staging area for briefings inside these blue tents before being deployed to their search grids. 16 years on from the disappearance of Madeleine McCann in the resort of Praia da Luz, there is still no concrete evidence of what happened to the 3-year-old. But both Portuguese and German police are convinced convicted sex offender Christian Bruckner is the man responsible for her abduction. He's currently serving 7 years in a German prison for the rape of an American tourist in Praia da Luz 2 years before Madeleine's disappearance. About half a mile from the staging area, another group of tents are visible in woodland just back from the shoreline. It was the German authorities who requested this latest search. It's reported that Christian Bruckner used to visit this area around the dam on a regular basis. It's a spot that he was apparently particularly fond of. In fact, he lived just about 7 miles from here for a while in a commune, and Praia da Luz itself is only some 20 miles further down the road. The German authorities have not yet said what's brought them to this area, miles from anywhere. But it is the first major search operation in the Algarve for almost a decade, since the Metropolitan Police asked for a series of digs around the Praia da Luz area in 2014. A small group of Scotland Yard detectives are out here this week as official observers. Of course, there is always intense public interest any time there are developments in this more than a decade and a half long mystery. Madeleine McCann's parents, who've seen many false dawns in this protracted investigation, are being kept informed about the progress of this latest search. Mark White, GB News at the Arad Dam on the Algarve.
We're going to go live now to the scene where this search is taking place with Mark White, who's been there for us all day. Mark, what's the latest where you are?
Well, the very latest is that, the clouds have opened. We've got a thunderstorm. It's been threatening all day, and that may well have an impact now on the search for the rest of the day. I'll just step out of the way again. More interesting than me is to see a shot down towards those forensic tents, which will actually now be right in the heart of that storm as the rain gets a bit more intense here. Dozens of police officers, Patrick, along with these other specialist search teams, have been out throughout the day today. They paused briefly at lunchtime for a rest, obviously, and just a debrief about what they may have found or not found in that search activity. But it's involved ground penetrating radar. They've been putting long poles into the ground as well, prodding the ground. No dive searches as far as we know today. There was a rigid inflatable out there at the start of the day, but that might come later. Although the information that we're really getting from the authorities seems to suggest that they believe the sites of interest are actually on the land there, on that little peninsula that juts out where those forensic tents are, Patrick.